it's just me and you.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on the look that I'm wearing right now. I wanted to do something a little bit different than what I typically do on my channel. This is a cool toned taupey makeup look, just a twist on all the warm tutorials that I've been putting out and that I've been seeing on YouTube. I'm actually collaborating with Decay Scarlet for this video, so thank you to them for sponsoring this video. I'm going to show you some new products from them, one of them that was named after me, which is the color that is on my lids right now. If you aren't familiar, Decay Scarlet is an every other month subscription service that sends you a whole deck of makeup, so basically everything you need for a look. Usually there's blush, highlight, eyeshadows, and maybe a lipstick or an eyeliner. As many of you know and remember, I was the artist-in-chief for a palette a few months ago. It was a beautiful purple smoky palette with like taupe accents, so stunning. So now Decay Scarlet is actually launching something new, which is what we're talking about today. So not only do they have the bi-monthly subscription service, but they actually just launched a whole line of foiled eyeshadows. There's 14 different shades, all named after the artists-in-chiefs that had collaborated with Decay Scarlet. So my shadow is of course named Stephanie. It's a beautiful taupey lilac, which is all over my lids, and we got to choose which one we wanted. And of course I wanted something different, grungy and cool toned. I do try to go for like warm stuff typically, but this one stood out to me. It's just like a beautiful gunmetal violet, and I had to have it. Each shadow is $12 separately if you buy them a la carte, which you can do so, but you can also buy them in bundle deals. So you can get 10 shades for $80, and then you do get a free carrying case, very similar to a Z palette. This is what the front of the case looks like, and then when you open it up, there is a large mirror, which is always appreciated. So here are all the single eyeshadows, 14 shades, named after people like Makeup by Yvonne, Kelly Strack, myself, so it's really exciting. This is my color, just like I said, a beautiful taupey kind of lilac shade. I just think paired with a grungy lip is a really cool spin on fall makeup. I really cannot tell you how buttery and creamy these are with full payoff. I didn't have any fallout. You'll see in the clips moving forward. They just are like a metallic creamy dream on the lid. Also wanted to note that these shadows are cruelty-free and paraben-free. There's free shipping within the United States, and there's also shipping available to Canada and the UK. Before I start rambling on too much, we're gonna get into the demo using my shade Stephanie on the lid. It's really beautiful, and I think you're gonna be really impressed with the quality of these shadows. If you're interested in checking out any of the line, I will have it linked down below, and let's get into the tutorial. Alright guys, we're going to start off with some matte shadows, of course. So I'm using my Natasha Denona Star palette. You can use any palette that you have that has matte shades. I'm using this light tan peachy shade as a transition. This is going to be a longer video. You guys have been requesting that. And I decided to do my full face on camera, which I don't do all the time. I find it tedious. And it's just kind of boring, but if you guys want to see it, that's fine with me. So I just have my brows on now, and I applied some tape so we can get a sharp edge because we are going to do a wing and a cut crease. So I'm just blending this throughout my crease and making sure that everything's nice and smooth, and then I'm going to jump back into the palette and I'm going in with a shade just a little bit deeper. As we usually do, we're going to warm this up and deepen it as we go. So I'm using a smaller brush, and I'm just going to really focus this a little bit above my natural crease because I do have hooded eyes, so I have to go a little bit above where my actual crease is. Also with the concealer, you'll see I do that as well. It can be a little bit tricky when you have hooded eyes. I'm not the best, but I'm definitely learning. So now I'm going to go into this maroon shade. This is like a light maroon matte shade, and I'm just going to use a more precise brush again. This one is from Morphe. I will have everything linked down below, but I'm just going to start deepening up that crease area, just sweeping back and forth until I get the depth that I'm looking for. Jumping back into a deep matte brown shade, I am going to focus this with a kind of fluffy pencil brush, and this is tapered, so it's kind of pointy at the end. This is really going to deepen up that crease area. Again, we're just focusing on building. I feel like I repeat myself in every video, but you really want to start with the light and go in with the dark. You never want to go flat in with like a dark shade because it's going to look so harsh. It's going to be really, really tough to blend out. So don't freak out if this isn't perfect because we are going to cover some of it with Shape Tape as we are doing now. So I just like to use the Shape Tape. I've tried using like a MAC paint pot, but I find the Shape Tape just has better coverage. So apply that to your lid. I like to do one at a time and then use a small concealer brush to really kind of map out your crease. Now you want to go over your natural crease unless you have like beautiful big lid space, which I do not. So take your time. This does take some time to perfect, but make sure that you don't have any jagged edges. And then once you're done with that, we're going in with the star of the show, which is my shade Stephanie from Deck of Scarlet. It is so stunning. You can see right here, like the pigment on this is insane. I'm using a Morphe brush from the Bling set, the holiday set, which has become my new favorite in terms of applying metallic shades to the lid, but look at this payoff. So I'm just applying this all over the lid, and then I do go in with a small detail brush to really get up where I cut that crease to kind of get around you know, the top areas so that everything is really precise. I show a tiny clip of that, but I had to get close to the mirror to make sure I was doing it right. So after that, I'm going to start on the face. This is kind of going to be in a weird order, but I'm going in with my Huda Beauty primer. I've talked about loving it so much. It's so sticky. It's just a really different primer from anything that I've used before. And then to target my pores, which I have a lot of and they are very large, I'm using my YSL Blur Primer, and I just really put this in the areas where I have bad pores, which is around my T-zone and between my brows, and then I'm gonna go in with foundation. So I'm using Huda Beauty foundation. This is the shade 300, and I love this foundation. I really do. It is full glam. I wouldn't probably wear it every day just because I don't need that much coverage every day. I'm usually not. I mean, I work from home, so it's not like I would, you know, need it every day, but I really enjoy it for filming. And then I'm using the new Urban Decay concealer. I really like this concealer. I will say when you apply it, I slowed down the clips, so I'm applying it. You do have to dunk in twice because not a lot comes out on the actual applicator. So that's like a one con, I guess. Usually with the Shape Tape, I just like dunk and go. But look how this blends out. And what I'm noticing about this is it dries quickly, so you do kind of have to work fast. But the thing I noticed, which I love, is it is blurring of your pores. So if you have issues highlighting like I have in the past, because I felt like my pores were getting kind of emphasized by concealer laying on top of foundation, I did not find that with this. So that's my thing. If you have pores or texture, you might really enjoy it. So now I'm moving on to the face. I know I keep rambling about the concealer, but I used a powder for under my eyes, which is a really brightening powder, and then I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way powder for the rest of my face. I've mentioned this a million times. It's super blurring. It just makes you look like a doll, which I know we're all after. If you have texture, try out the Too Faced powder. You will not be disappointed. So now I'm going to pop some lashes on. These are from Flutter lashes, and I will have the actual style linked. And then I'm just going to wipe away that powder I'm baking with. This is a Juvia's Place brush, and then I am going to go into contouring the face. So I'm using the Shapeshifter palette, which I've raved about 800 times. You can see that's very well loved. And I actually just use a little Benefit brush, like a hula brush, and I just carve out my cheekbones. I feel like it just fits right in there, and it's just the easiest, quickest way for me. And now I'm using my Juvia's Place. This is the Saharan blush palette. I'm using the shade Yara to bronze up. It's a really, really warm matte bronzer, and I've realized like lately I don't bronze that much, and I want to try to get more into bronzing. I feel like when I see other YouTubers bronze, they look so beautiful and it brings them to life. And I just don't do it enough, so I'm making an effort to get on the bronzer train. And now I'm going in with Zoba. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. I'm using this as a highlight, and sometimes I apply my highlight first, and then my blush just kind of sandwiches. But I'm using a Morphe M501, and this is a gorgeous highlighter. Like, I was shocked. I thought it would be too dark for me, I guess, in the past. I don't know why, but it is stunning. So I'm like absolutely in love with that. And then I'm going in with the shade B, which is my favorite shade from here. And it's just like a mauve-y blush. This palette has been well loved. Like probably my favorite blush palette that I own. If I had to just choose one, I would go with it. It's so beautiful. Really anything Juvia's Place I love. So now let's finish off the eyes. So I'm going in with a matte shade on the lower lash line. I don't like to be too fussy about my lower lash line. And I've noticed as I get older, I feel like pigment doesn't want to sit there, and I'm wondering if it's those really finely milled powders that I use under there that it kind of is so like smooth and slick. I wonder if powders just don't want to grab there. But I like an under eye that's concealed and highlighted, so I just kind of deal with it. So now I'm just layering basically as I did on my crease. I'm just going lightest to deepest and just sweeping on the lower lash line with a Morphe brush. And then I'm going into the deepest shade and just kind of packing that on and sweeping it back and forth. But again, I'm not too fussy about my lower lash line because I don't know, I think the drama should be on the lid and the lashes and the lips and the highlight. So I'm going to apply some liner in my waterline, of course, my Marc Jacobs liner as I use all the time. And then I'm going in with a Gerard Cosmetics lipstick, and this is in the shade Invasion. It's one of my favorite cool toned, just insanely beautiful, like grungy lipsticks. I do have a code with them to save 30%. It is Babs Beauty, and I will put it on the screen. And this is one of my top picks if you're looking for a grungy lip, and that completes the look. I hope you guys enjoyed. Alright guys, so that is it for me in my tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you're interested in picking up any of these goodies down below. I will have it linked in the description bar as I said before. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.